Okay, today we're going to work on multiplying by 6s and 7s and 8s. This is a really good way to do it. This is what I did when I was a kid. Every day when I went out for recess, my friends and I, we played football. Sometimes we would score by 6s, and by doing that, we would learn all of our multiples of 6. Some days we would score by 7s, like a touchdown and an extra point. And by doing that, we would learn all of our 7s. And then some days we would even score by 8s, which would be a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. So doing that, we would learn all of our multiples of 8. So that's a really good way to learn your 6s and 7s and 8s is by playing football and either scoring by 6s or by 7s or by 8s. And then you can learn all of what's typically the hardest ones for third graders. But of course you can use some other strategies. So let's say that you want to do 6 times 4, okay? You could do groups. You could do 6 groups of 4. Now notice how I'm doing it quickly, because if you're using a strategy, you don't want it to take you forever because it takes long enough as it is. So don't do fancy drawings, just do something that's going to help you get the answer and get that answer quickly. So I've got 6 groups of 4, now I just count to get my product. I can count by 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. So therefore the product is 24. So that's one thing you can do to work on your 6s, 7s, or 8s. Let's do another one. Let's do 8 times 6. 8 times 6. And this time we're going to use an array. So we're going to do 8 rows of 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I'm going to keep making my rows until I have 8 of them. And I don't really even have to count if I'm careful, because if I'm careful, everything is lined up, and they should end up as rows of 6. I just need to make sure that I have 8 of them. 8 rows of 6. I think I'm getting close. I'm going to count in just a second here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I just need one more row of 8, or one more row of 6 rather. Okay, so I've got my 8 rows of 6. Notice how with an array it's nice and straight. Rows and columns all lined up. It's nice and organized. Okay, so in order to get it, I can count. Now I can count by 1s, I can count by 2s. You could count by 8s or 6s, but that would probably mean that you already know the answer. Okay, so let's count by 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42, 44, 46, 48, if you count correctly. Now, if you don't feel comfortable counting by 2s, then just count by 1s. That's perfectly fine, okay? But that's called an array. So 8 times 6 equals 48. Let's try another one. 7 times 4. So here we're going to use repeated addition. So we can do 4 7s or 7 4s. Let's just do 4 7s. 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7. Okay, 7 plus 7 is 14. 14 plus another 7 is 21. 21 plus another 7 is 28. Therefore, your product is 28. So those are just some strategies that you can use. So I'm going to write down a few problems. you'll want to click pause and try to figure them out, whichever way works best for you, and then click play, and then you'll get to see the answers. So let's try 7 times 7 equals, let's try 6 times 6 equals, and let's try 8 times, let's go with 2. So click pause. Okay, so now we're back after you've clicked pause and you've done your problem. So here are the products that you would get. For 7 times 7, if you did it correctly, you would have gotten 49. For 6 times 6, if you did that one correctly, you got 36. If you did 8 times 2 correctly, you got 16. Now for this one, do you think you could have used the 2 strategy that we learned earlier? Yes, of course you could. So that would be much easier to do it that way, wouldn't it? Let's do 3 more. Six times 5 equals 7 times 8 equals, and 8 times, let's do 4 equals. So go ahead and try those 3. Now, after you've done these 3, here are the answers. And if you haven't clicked pause, go ahead and do that and do your problems, and then come back and listen to the answers. So the first one, 6 times 5 is 30. 7 times 8 is 56. And 8 times 4 is 32. Okay, so those would be all of your products. Do you think for this one you could have used a 5 strategy, like the old calendar time where you count on your fingers by 5 until you have 6 fingers up? That would be 30, right? Okay? So what I want you to do on your own, use any of the strategies and practice anything multiplied by 6, by 7, or by 8, and that will help you tremendously on your next time test.